afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays and welcome back to the channel. Yes, it's a bit of nostalgia. I'm feeling a bit nostalgic, you know. It's looking back at old videos, looking back at old premium tanks. It really got me, you know, not upset, but I just want to live back in the past, you know, the old days of Blitz. And that is what we're going to talk about in this video. We've got old videos, we've got old aces, we've got old premium tanks and old OP tanks. Now, the first up, we have the T3485 Rudy. Now, the reason I've added the Rudy into this video is because this tank was once one of the best premium tanks in the game, and it was one of my first premium tanks in the game. This was back before all the OP tier 7s, you know, there was nothing really out there. There was no Smashers, there was no Draculas, Helsins, Chimera, there was nothing like that. There was this, you know, there was T3485 Rudies, T3485 Victories. We still had the Type 62, but the thing back then, there was nothing special about these tanks. Now, going back to play this now, I realised like how the penetration sucked in this tank. Like the penetration was never nothing special, and this is what the premium tanks used to be like back then. They were literally just premium tanks to earn a bit of credits, earn extra credits. There was no OP-ness about them. There was literally nothing special about any premium tank that was in the game back then. There was a couple that was really good, like the Type 59, and that's about it really. There wasn't, the IS6 was only good because of the premium matchmaking, the preferential matchmaking. It was 2+2 matchmaking back then, and the IS6 sort of was quite a strong tank, and it only ever saw tier 9. And when you do two of them in a platoon, it was quite good. Not a lot of people could penetrate you. You were coming up against tier 6s, and so there was. They were quite good back in the day. They were quite good. And this tank here, I absolutely adored this tank. The Rudy was just a beautiful tank to play back then. As I've said, there was nothing special at all about the tank. But this is the kind of premium tanks you would get back sort of 4 years ago. So going back to play this and seeing Wargaming sell this tank again, it just brings back memories, you know. So going back to old time memories, we all talk about OP tanks back then, which was like the Lux, and maybe the A20 was kind of OP, but no one really talks about this tank here, the T46. Now this tank was absolutely insane. For a tier 3 tank, you would just win almost every battle, and again, when there's two of you in a platoon, you would just destroy everything that come in your way. Obviously, it's been nerfed since back in the days. It used to have well, it's got 2 shells now. It used to have 3 or 4 shells, and well, I think it was 3. And you used to be able to do sort of 250, 300 damage sometimes per magazine. It had the speed. It didn't really have the armor. It's never really had the armor, but you used to just destroy everything that came in your way. And I mean, this is probably one of my, I haven't checked, but this is probably one of my most played tier 3s, because we used to play for fun back then, you know. I never even knew about stats whilst playing this tank. It was just like, oh, this tank's fun, why not play this tank? We didn't care about win rate, we didn't care about average damage, we literally did not give a fuck about stats, and that just makes me sad. That makes me sad how this day and age is all stat orientated. Everyone is worried about dropping win rate or dropping average damage or WN8 or WN7 or whatever they freaking want to call it. Like, yeah, it's nice having good stats, don't get me wrong, but back then just no one cared. No one absolutely cared. You could be a 70% win rate player with 2,000 average damage, and if you were in a platoon and someone wanted to play tier 3 or tier 4, they'll be like, okay, let's do it. Like, we don't care. No one cares. Nowadays and age, if you in a platoon with someone that's got 2,000 average damage, and you say, like, should we go tier 3? They think you're joking. Like, they're like, yeah, what? I don't think so. I play tier 10, man. I play tier 10 and tier 10 only. I mean, if that's what they like, okay, fair enough. I don't mind. Some people only enjoy tier 10. Fatness, for instance, he enjoys tier 10. He doesn't enjoy other tiers, which is fine if it's like that. But back then, we just didn't care, man. Like, we really didn't care. If we wanted to roll out in the T46, we would roll out in the T46. If we wanted to roll out in the tier 5 AT2 because nothing could pen you, we would roll out in the AT2 because nothing could pen you. And it was fun. It was mega fun back then. So those are the two tanks. There was many other tanks. There was many other tanks back then. But going back through the years, we're going to look at some of my old battles. That just makes me laugh, to be honest. And here we come with the OP Measy 69 intro that we had back in the days. Now, this video here, a lot of you won't remember this. Most of you won't remember this. This is going back 4 years ago. Like, Wargaming got into the game something called valiant effort. So when you lose a game and you did pretty well, you would get a valiant effort, where you would get more XP for your efforts, basically. So but what Wargaming actually did is they broke the XP bar. What I mean by that, you're going to see this in this battle. Now, I'm in Phoenix back in the day, one of the best clans in EU, along with Legion. There was no other clan apart from Legion that sort of come close to Phoenix. So joining Phoenix was like a big thing for me. Obviously, there were still OP clans back then. You had Mates, you had Loca. There was a few OP clans back then. But Phoenix was the clan that sort of everyone wanted to join. Phoenix and Legion were the rivalry clans. You know, they didn't get on. They hated each other. And if you're in Phoenix, you can't associate with Legion because, you know, it's like, if you watch football, it's like a Barcelona versus Real Madrid kind of thing, Tottenham versus Arsenal, that kind of rivalry it was. And I was actually friends with Legion when I joined Phoenix, so it was a bit difficult. Some people in Phoenix didn't like the fact that I was friends with them, but you know, I'm not dropping friends for no clan. So valiant effort, what actually happened? So it became impossible to ace a tank on a win because you wouldn't get as much XP. You would get your standard XP. So now you see it where if you're in a tier 10, you have a good battle, 6k damage, you get around 15 to 1600 XP, which is usually enough for an ace. However, back in the day, back when this was recorded, if you get a valiant effort, you didn't used to get 1500 or 1600 or even 1700 XP. You used to get a crazy amount of XP. I'm talking, if you had 6000 damage and you lost, you would get around 3000 XP. Like, I'm being serious. Like, honestly, you would get around 3000 XP. And because of that, it pushed the ace bar up. So when you win a game, and you could do 8,000 damage and get 1700 XP, you still could not ace the tank because of the valiant effort. Now, what people used to do, if they're having a good game, and you could see that they need the ace, and they haven't ever aced a tank. I have done it. I've done it. I own up to doing it, where I know I've had a pretty decent game, and I'm thinking, right, if I win this, I have not aced it. So I have through the battle. I threw the battle because I needed the ace. Now here you're going to see we're in the E100, and this was my first ace in the E100. We didn't throw any game. I love the fact that Sam Jeffries is in the chat, and he's literally saying, like, Meadsy, are you recording? I had 100 subs back then. Sam Jeffries is still around now, so fair play to him. So you're going to see here, we lose the game. We lose the game. I finish with an ace, and I finish with just 4k damage. 4,100 damage, we get the ace. That is not ace worthy. You can see in the corner there, valiant effort. Now look at my XP, 1917 base XP. To get that XP now, you need literally like 8,000 damage. So yeah, it was kind of broken. It was kind of broken back then, but it just sort of the memories, you know. I have a few videos out there with valiant efforts, like one which was a tier 7 and I got 2k damage, obviously that one. So yeah, it brings back memories. Now what brings back even more memories is how shit I was as a YouTuber back then, and you can say I'm still shit at it now, you know. All these YouTubers with all their computers, all their PCs that they've spent thousands, all their setup, 3 monitors, microphone here, microphone there, green screen here, green screen there. I have 56,000 subscribers and I am still sitting in my car making footage. Fair enough, when I do stream, I am on PC. I do have my setup. I do have my green screen, which at the moment I don't use because of where my setup is. I need to sort of move things around. But yeah, it just goes... It reminds me of how shit I was as a player and as a YouTuber. Now, this was my first ever video, and I titled this video Tier 4 Carry. Like, Tier 4 Carry. I was so happy with this game, and it was just like, bruh, me and Mark Nash, one of my oldest friends in the game, doesn't play the game no more, sadly. I still got him on Facebook, etc., but I don't have Facebook now, so technically I don't have him on Facebook. But if I download Facebook again, he's still my friend on there. We've met him. He's been tank first, etc. So this was literally like, bruh, I've just started recording my games. You can even see the little red record button up the top. I've actually had to mute the game because I am sitting at work. Nothing changes. Nothing literally changes. I'm sitting at work in my canteen whilst recording this, and all you can hear in the background is the TV, the radio, my friends talking. So I've had to mute it. I'll unmute it towards the end when the music, when the sort of the radio stops, otherwise it will be monetized, and you can literally just hear my friend talking, and I didn't give a fuck, you know. I didn't care back then. It was just like, you know what, let's play tier 4. This is the Panzer 4D. This was an OP tank back then as well. You think of the DW2s and stuff like that. This was amazing. This tank was really good back then. Really strong. And yeah, like, I named it. I can't believe I even named this Tier 4 Carry. If I have a battle like this in Tier 4 now, I'd be ashamed. Like, it's not even a carry, dude. Like, Meadsy, what the frick are you talking about, Tier 4 Carry? Yeah, like, you haven't got no idea what a carry is. If you think this is a carry, then you must have been a freaking shit player back then. And I was, you know. I was in Alpha Wolves, just got into Alpha Wolves. I had around 50 or so % win rate. And in fact, I had a lot of friends in Alpha Wolves, but they wouldn't let me join until I got to 50% win rate. So I was actually, just before this, I was actually around 48%. I do apologize if you do hear that noise in the background. A stupid aeroplane somewhere is being inconsiderate and just ruining my freaking video. So now you should be able to hear the talking in the background. It's just like nostalgia. Like, I'm happy at looking back at these, but also sad that this day and age is over. When did you start playing Blitz, guys? Let me know in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed it. Do you remember any of these? I'm Meadsy. See you soon.